Hello everybody, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Karabo, and if you are a new subscriber, thank you so much for coming. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. Here I post content about Christianity, school and lifestyle. So please do go ahead, like, share and subscribe, and click on that notification bell so that you can get notified every time I post a video. This actually feels so weird. I haven't posted a video in a month, and that was because I was actually busy with my exams. And so I actually came to do I wouldn't say it's a story time, it's not even a review of some sort, but it's just me coming here to vent about my experiences when I was writing my exams. So yeah, without any waste of time, let's just get right into the video. Okay, so I wrote my exams, and I'm not gonna say my exams went well. Well, the experiences weren't so welcoming, but the papers that I wrote were actually really good. I'm not gonna complain. Even the one module that I was actually complaining about, well, worried about, and it actually just kept me sleepless. The paper was really awesome, and I am very grateful to God for that. I actually came here, guys, because I want to voice out my own concerns concerning the invigilator app, load shedding, power cuts, and the school system that always crashes when we have to submit our exams. Please, somebody explain to me why UNISA still hasn't fixed this thing. Okay, so fine, right? We had COVID, and after COVID, the school decided that we're not gonna go back to writing our exams on the venue. So basically there is no more any venue base. We write our assignments and our exams online. They introduced the system, which was to submit through the school system, obviously our exams through the school systems. And then there was also the invigilator app, which we are supposed to use. Apparently it's there to check us when we're writing our exams, so that it can actually make sure that we don't copy. Asas, guys, it does check. Asas, maybe it does check, but I'm not gonna be worried or anything like that because your girl's good. Okay, so my first thing that I'm actually about to speak about is load shedding. Listen, I'm very grateful that load shedding did not disturb my exams in any way. But there was this one exam that I was actually writing from 8 to 12, right? Because my exams are obviously 4 hours, except for the 24 and 48 hours, which were my portfolios. So this one module, I was actually writing it at 8 a.m. And when you write at 8 a.m., the paper gets released at 7:45, which is 7:45, and then you get to download they give you 15 minutes to download the paper and everything. So that was sorted for me, right? I come downloading the paper. The paper did get downloaded. Now I have to log into the system. I don't know what happened, because the moment it load sheds, there's no network, guys. But by the will of God, I was able to write. I do know that there were some other students who weren't able to write their exams because of load shedding, which, by the way, I believe because the school has to well, it did make an exception, but I think that for a person to actually wait for the next semester to write their exams isn't really fair. Imagine if you actually thought you are supposed to graduate next year in March. Now you have to wait for June to write the exam that you missed now in November. Yeah, it's November. In November, because of load shedding. That for me really isn't fair. I think they had to just say set up a date, or rather check as to when you won't be having any load shedding, and then we'll make an exception that you actually get to write that paper. I'm very sorry to the people who could not write their papers, or could not even be able to submit because of load shedding. I was very much grateful, because I was able, like I said, for me, load shedding only affected me on the day when I was writing an exam at 8 a.m. I think it was on the 21st. I was writing an exam at 8 a.m. So we left at 8 a.m. and then came back around past 10, and I was supposed to send in my application around 12. So I wasn't as much worried. I think the one thing that worried me was being able to actually download the paper and have it. I think before the 21st, we had a very heavy rain. That rain literally caused a power cut around my area. I've never panicked so much in my life, because I knew I was writing this paper on the following day, and this is a paper that this module I've been like dreading to write it. So I made sure that, firstly, my own dilemma was I cannot miss any exam from the exams that I have right now, because I have to make sure that I graduate next year. So I can't miss any exam. If I miss any, then I'm gonna have to graduate next year, because it was the like bendigo issue, guys. So I had to make sure I write my exams. So here I am panicking, calling people, because my phone was literally at like 16%. My laptop was at 20% or 21%, somewhere there. I have to use my laptop to write my exams. I have to use my phone to open up the invigilatorApp. So it wasn't working. I tried to call people, to message people, to just try and find a way of writing my exam. Luckily enough, someone did come through for me, and he said I can actually use the school not so far from here. There's a school that I went to, so I used that school to actually study, and he was like, no, you can just come and use one of the classes to write your exam there. So obviously I was going to be able to charge my devices and actually write that. They were literally going to like just set up that classroom for me to actually write my paper. That was sorted, and then the following day when I woke up, there was electricity, so I didn't end up going there. I just wrote here at home, right? So that was my second challenge, right? My third challenge, the invigilator app. Please tell me, Uguti, guys, isn't the invigilator app just supposed to be there to check Uguti we are not copying, or if it's a closed book, they don't hear any papers like flipping around and stuff like that? Why do we have to take pictures of the script and send it through? The first exam, one of my first exams, I nearly couldn't submit because the close of time was 12:30. So the paper was from 8 a.m. until 12 p.m. right? Yeah, it's 12 p.m. noonday, right? And then they give you 30 minutes to actually submit your paper. But I thought I actually have to firstly take those pictures from each and every page of my script and then send it to the invigilator app first before I can send in my exam to the school system. When I was done, it was literally 12:33. The close of time was 12:30. I want you to see the grace of God here, right? And then I come now, I try to submit. The school system is crashing. The school system literally crashed, and that's how I was able to get my way into submitting my paper, because people started trying to submit their papers from around 10 past 12, 12:15, but the school system at the time had already crashed. And then our lecturer sent in an email to say, no, you know what, we're going to extend the submission time until 1:30. Yo, I was so joyful during that time. Literally, I was panicking, but a part of me was just like, okay, let me just relax. Let me just relax, right? Because like something will just come up. Let me just calm down and relax. Something will just come up. I will be able to submit my paper. I just knew I'll be able to submit my paper. I tried to find in the link, because like there's like some alternative link that they sent so that one can use to submit their paper. I did submit on that link, through that link, right? But it was obviously after 12:30, and there's the rules of the school says would say after cut-off time, even if you use the link, we're not gonna take your paper. I was no, I don't like it. Listen, you see, during these exams, I saw the grace of God. I saw the grace of God. So our lecturer sends in an email to say, no, actually students have been struggling to send in their papers from obviously like before close of time. So the exam office or department and the lecturers have agreed that they're going to allow students to actually submit their papers until 1:30. Luckily, I was actually able to submit my paper. And yes, in as much as I did submit it through the link, I was like, I want to actually submit it on the website, like put in my student number, my details and everything, and then submit my paper and have it say good submitted. So I did submit that. Okay, and then guys, now come my it was my third last exam. It was a portfolio exam, one of the easiest module, guys. No, it was supposed to be a first year module because like it's so easy. out of all my fourth year modules, that module is really, really so easy. So I'm relaxed the first day because like they sent it I think on Monday and we were supposed to submit it on Wednesday. On Monday I'm just relaxed. I'm just chilled. Actually, not even that, I was actually just chilled. I had a situation going on here at home and that was like kind of straining me concerning my little brother. But obviously I can't share that. But like it was really, really straining me, right? Okay, so I decided to no, I'm not gonna open up my schoolwork. This paper is due on Wednesday, so let me just relax. On that Monday, I was just chilled. During exam season, I'm watching Netflix. Everything is just well for me. Come Tuesday, I start writing my paper. We had another power cut here. We had another power cut. Like there was a heavy rain, and then it obviously affected our electrical sense. I don't know what to call. Angazi nje ukuthi la khona intambo zegesi angazi ukuthi yini. Power station, yes, it affected that, the power station. So we didn't have electricity on that day, and I knew I had to do my paper because it was due the following day at 8 a.m. in the morning. So I went to the school, obviously, because like I used that school to do my schoolwork. I went to the school because students were actually still writing. It's exam season, and that class was actually being used. The class teacher of that class was like, no, you can actually use my office. So I went to his office, started doing my schoolwork there, right? Obviously I needed like to just do my schoolwork there, use the electricity at school. Okay, fine, I do my schoolwork, fine, I'll do my paper, okay, fine. I work until 1 a.m. I worked until 1 a.m. because it was obviously long, hence they gave it 48 hours. It was long. It was, you know, my essays, man, unnecessarily long for no reason, honestly. So I worked around it until 1 a.m. I didn't stay at school until at school I left around 6 p.m. and then came back here at home 8, took a bath, and then relaxed a bit, and then I think around past 8 p.m. I resumed with my schoolwork and I worked on it until 1 a.m. Woke up at 5 a.m. and then continued, and around 7:30 now I tried to submit the paper. The school system crashed. Please explain to me why up to this point UNISA still hasn't fixed this issue. Like they know that they have 20,000+ students and per day there's about 5,000+ students who are writing. Why haven't they came up with a system that will accommodate students to actually submit their paper? Do you know, Uguti, with my last exam, literally the students were crying on that the group, the school group. They were crying to say, Guti, we were not able to submit this paper. So many students were saying this was such an easy paper, but people were crying. Like they were crying. And I'm trying to understand, Guti, why up to this point, I know the SRC is working on this, but do they really understand that there's some students who actually got delayed on their schoolwork because on their course? Like some students are actually supposed to be graduating now, but they can't graduate now, they have to graduate next year. And those who can graduate next year, they have to graduate next year. Their time is being wasted. They have a timeline. And not because they did not study or because they were not capable, but because they actually studied, wrote the paper, but when they have to submit, they can't because the system literally crashed. And you like, hey, I tried to submit it using the Moodle app because there's like this app called Moodle where we can submit. The app was so slow. I tried to log in using Chrome. The system just wasn't doing it. It told me about bad gateway something. I tried logging in using Opera Mini. It still didn't allow. I was literally crying. My little brother came into my room and he was like, "What's going on? Why are you crying?" I said, "Nothing." I was crying. Hey guys, I've never cried so much because of a paper.
Yeah, Jesus, God me, help me. Couldn't stand us.
Because I knew, firstly, it's a 4th year paper. I don't want to fail any of my 4th year modules, because once you fail your 4th year module, you don't graduate cum laude. I could not. I was crying. I was crying while, like, literally holding my laptop, trying to log in with my laptop. My laptop is also slow. All of a sudden, my laptop started being slow. I don't know why. And when I look at the time, it's like 50. Literally, the time moved from 7:45 to 7:58. Ukuthi kanjani nami angazi, guys. 8 o'clock I had to submit. Do you understand me? Like, I'm crying. Like, what was I going to do? Like,
what I must do?
and I was crying whilst trying to submit my paper. I don't even know. In me, one thing that I was worried about was that I don't want to repeat any of the modules that I'm doing now. Ever. Because I prepared. Do you understand me? Like, I prepared. Like, this semester for me was one semester that was so draining. Firstly, my timetable was set that I have to write all of my exams in 1 month. All of my exams were on October. 2 exams were actually on the same day, right? 2 exams were on the same day. One of which was a portfolio module, which is the one that I'm trying to submit now, which I was actually trying to submit. And the other one, guys, I was freaking out. Like, I don't even know what was I going to do. Like, I cried. Do you know that heart-wrenching cry? I cried. Luckily enough, so I don't know where did I press, because like I was crying, calling on the name of God. I'm trying to submit, moving from this one app to another, like going to website to website. It just doesn't allow. My laptop is slow. I don't understand what's happening. I knew the enemy was just fighting me, and I was not. One man was going to remain standing, and it was going to be God. That was literally a fight. So I'm calling on the name of God, guys. Like, God, please don't. I literally was crying and saying, God, please don't do this to me. Please don't do this. I wasn't like blaming God Guti this was happening. I was like saying, Guti, you can see Guti what is happening, but please don't leave me at a time like this, because you said you will never leave me nor forsake me. So why is this happening now? Like, I'm trying to understand. So it was the pits. Like, it was the pits. I'm sure my grandmother didn't even want to ask me what was happening, because she was at the dining room. And my cries, my neighbor probably heard me crying at that time. Maybe they thought they were beating me up like Kaya. Because like, it was really, really that bad. I was crying and shaking. It was just, it was just something else. So, okay, enough about me crying. Now, the time now is 8:01. It can't pela. It can't shade pela. You didn't submit. I was now thinking of ways to tell my mom I couldn't submit the paper. I wasn't even worried. My mom is one person who actually understands. Like, my mom has been with me throughout this whole journey at school. Like, when I didn't write or the paper was so bad, she's the one person I go to cry to. So, I wasn't like really worried. So I decided to just go into Telegram, the school group. The one thing that was just a nail in the coffin for me was the fact that the group was now open, because whenever they release the exam paper, the group gets muted because they're trying to prevent that students actually discuss the paper during the group, right? I mean, in the group during the exam period, exam duration, right? So when I logged in and the group was opened, it's done for me. Like, I get it, it's done for you, but like you graduating, you're not graduating now, you're right, but like something in me was just saying, relax, can you like just relax, can you relax? Okay, so I text one of the students and I'm like, hey, the system has been crashing. Like, I've been trying to submit, but the school system was crashing. So is there maybe a way that they can actually extend or something? And he's like, he didn't reply me. And then I decided to go to the announcement. Yes, the announcement, because like that's where the lecturers actually speak with us. The lecturer just said, we noticed to go to the school, the system has been crashing, and then we just extended the time to 1 o'clock. I was like, do you know the God that I serve, guys? Like, at that moment, I literally gave glory to God, because I knew only God can do this. Only God can do this. So from that time, I really didn't like want to make any mistakes. I was trying to like submit, but it wasn't allowing. The school system was still crashing. And then around 9 a.m. I tried again, and my paper actually went through. And I was like, thank goodness. Like, I was just like, you know what, thank goodness. I remember going to my mom to say, you know what, when I start working, the first thing that I'm going to do with my pay, guys, like my pay, I'm taking myself out. Like, I'm tired with the school. And I'm not saying it's not a good school. Overall, it taught me discipline, it taught me consistency, it taught me to be strong, and to give up my best on my schoolwork. But honestly, guys, like, this invigilator app thing that when it comes to the invigilator app, when you're trying to take the pictures, I don't understand what's going on. They don't appear so well. Like when you literally take the picture, it appears well, and then angazi what's going on. Hey, like But anyways, guys, I just wanted to share my experience with my exams to say, there was a challenge. They were like my exams, my papers, the papers that I wrote were not challenging at all. Like they were not challenging. They actually went well. I wrote very well. I'm not even gonna complain or anything like that. Like I wrote very well. But the one thing for me was just the process of it. Load shedding, the power cuts for some reason. Power cuts. My laptop suddenly decided to be slow. The school system crashing. I'm still worried about the school system crashing because so many students. Like I was really the console. That group was like someone died. People were crying so much to say because I could not submit this paper. I could not submit the paper. And even if you did not submit the paper, the school tells you we're not going to allow it if you just try to email it to the lecturer, because it has to go straight to the exam department. It's not going to the lecturer, right? So it was really something else. I really personally feel something has to be done about this. I mean, yes, there's an automatic automatic something where like they allow you to write next semester, and I think you only pay like 200 and something for that paper instead of paying the whole 1.7 for that paper module rather, right? But it's a delay. Can you imagine a person actually spent the whole semester doing assignments and studying for this module, had sleepless nights studying for this module, even contributed to the discussion classes that were there, and they were so shocked with their writing, spent 4 hours writing this paper, and then now when they had to submit, they cannot because the system has crashed. No, so I believe something has to be done about this. They have to just try. Please, the school has money. They have to just try and prioritize functions and just spend that money on paying IT people, technicians to just come and try to not even develop, but like just try to make a system that will actually allow students to submit during time. Because the system, I promise you, the system, like with my other modules, I just decided I'm going to, the moment the paper gets released at 8:45, I start writing my paper so that I can have even that extra 15 minutes to submit. Like 12 o'clock, I have to make sure I'm literally done with everything. Literally by 12 o'clock, actually, I start submitting. I started with the invigilator app. I'll submit my documents afterwards. I just submit at the school system, and then afterwards I will deal with the invigilator app. Because now the invigilator app, sometimes it will just tell you your documents were not submitted or something. I don't know what is it that it said. I'll just post this thing here so that you can see it. And then you're busy trying to upload. It's and then you try to also message the invigilator office or something, and then they tell you stories now. Try to do this, try to switch off your phone. Like, where do you even get time to switch off your phone because you're supposed to submit your paper? Like that 5 minutes that your phone takes to restart, it's that 5 minutes that you're supposed to spend to submit your paper. I don't know. Personally, I would say, I mean, we do love writing at our very own comfort, but things were very, very, very much easier when we were writing venue-based, because the only thing you had to worry about was catching a taxi and arriving at the venue-based, write your paper. After you're done, they take your paper and that's it, right? So here, you have to make sure that you have data. Okay, fine, the school does send data, but like sometimes there's no network, right? And then you have to try to find a laptop because you can't write with your phone. Even if you do write, some people actually do handwrite their papers and then they scan those. I've never done that, but I don't know, it probably works for them. I've never really had to do that. But also, I don't think the marking is fair because sometimes they don't see your handwriting pretty well, right? Because you scanned it. Like, guys, me nanje personally, Unisa, I sharp going on faith. Like now, I just want to graduate, and yeah. I think the experience is also nice because like you get to experience those emotions of a student. So you like cry, you laugh, and the next thing you're crying, the next thing you're laughing, the next thing you are so pissed off, the next thing you are panicking, the next thing. But yeah, anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please comment down below what was your experience with your exams, and we can just, I don't know, laugh about it. And yeah, thank you so much for watching my video. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and also click on the notification bell so that you can get notified each and every time I post a video. Love you. Bye.